It's hard to underestimate the contribution made by the city of Liverpool during the Second World War. Between 1939 and 1945, the Port of Liverpool handled over 75 million tonnes of cargo, and nearly 5 million troops passed through the city on their way to the front line. On the other side of the River Mersey, shipbuilders at Cammell Laird built over 100 warships, which was the equivalent of a new ship being launched every 3 weeks. On top of this, they repaired over 2,000 damaged merchant and naval vessels. Liverpool was also home to a secret headquarters where the outcome of the Battle of the Atlantic was eventually decided. In the basement of Derby House was a top-secret command centre that became headquarters of Western Approaches Command, where under the leadership of Admiral Sir Percy Noble, then later Admiral Sir Max Horton, the Royal Navy and the Royal Air Force worked together to win the war. In this series of 100 rooms that were hidden deep under the Derby House lay the nerve centre of the entire Battle of the Atlantic campaign. This battle lasted from the first to the last day of the war and was vital in ensuring supplies reached across the Atlantic Ocean. The country needed these convoys of supply ships, not only for the war effort, but also to prevent the nation from starvation. With all able-bodied men away fighting in the ongoing conflict, it fell upon the Women's Royal Naval Service and the Women's Auxiliary Air Force to ensure that the vital work carried out in the bunker continued smoothly. Eating and even sleeping underground during the 12-hour shifts was grueling. Women comprised 80% of the bunker's workforce, and no job was considered too important to be done by the Wrens and the Waffs. The building was also home to the Western Approaches Tactical Unit. Established in 1942 by Captain Gilbert Roberts, WATU studied U-boat attacks and developed highly effective countermeasures for escort commanders to adopt. Young but highly capable and intelligent Wrens largely staffed WATU. Their work became so important that all naval captains were required to undertake 6 days of training under the watchful eyes of these women. These women commanded the respect of all who saw the impact their work was having. Thanks to the Official Secrets Act, the building was sealed off in 1945 and largely forgotten about until it was rediscovered in the early 1990s. The Battle of the Atlantic was won at a cost. Over 70,000 members of the armed forces and over 30,000 merchant seamen lost their lives. But without the work of the Western Approaches, these figures would have been much higher, and the Battle of the Atlantic would have had a completely different outcome. Today, Western Approaches welcomes visitors from across the globe to learn more about the role that Western Approaches and the city of Liverpool played in the war. It is also a place to remember and honour those that gave everything to keep Britain and the world free from Nazi tyranny.